My name is Cecere. I'm president of the American Eagle Foundation out of Pigeon Forge at Dollywood. I've been a lifelong friend of Bob for 30 years, or 30 years plus, I guess, but right in that neck of the woods. And we're going to have a few people come up and just speak first before we do the Eagle release. And we're going to start with Ed Carter, who's the director of the executive director of the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, who also was a friend of Bob and a neighbor, and he wants to come up and say something. So let's welcome Ed up here right now.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so pleased to see so many people had the opportunity to come out and participate in a couple of things. One being, of course, the Eagle release, but the very special reason we're here to honor a man who so many of us had the opportunity to work with, and so many of you have known on a personal basis. Bob Hatcher was at the agency when I started to work there some 43 years ago, and since that time we've been friends for a long time and have worked together in many different aspects. I've seen Bob climbing trees to get little eagles out and putting them in the little hacking towers. I've seen him do things that I would be scared to do as a teenager, but he just jumped in and did them all. The point that we want to make in all this is the legacy that Bob leaves, it not only as a wildlife biologist, but a person. To say that we have both of those rolled up into one person is something that not a lot of us can say. Another thing that I wanted to mention this morning, I don't want to take a lot of time because I know there are other people that would like to say things, but we were trying to think, how's the best way that we could keep Bob's legacy going forward? And I had the opportunity to visit with him Sunday, and we talked about this, and he was really pleased. I wanted to announce that we're, through the Wildlife Resources Foundation, and with some of the people who have helped make that possible, we're going to have a Bob Hatcher Ornithological Foundation scholarship. And that scholarship will go to some wildlife student whose specialty is going toward ornithology or somewhere in that realm of the world that Bob works so well in. So we'll be putting together a team of people from the Tennessee Ornithological Society, the Wildlife Foundation, and Wildlife Resources Agency, and perhaps one or two other organizations as we put everything together. But starting this fall, actually, we'll have the first person who will be the recipient of that, and that team of people will put that together. And Bob was very pleased about that, and I know that the work that he's done, when he came to work, eagles were on the endangered species list. Through his work and many other people that he's worked with, they're no longer on the endangered species list, and we have them nesting all over the Tennessee and so the areas close by us here. It's really rewarding to see those as we come forward and see them flying, and to know that the peril that they once in, or what we try to do through a lot of our non-game programs, and that is to make sure that animals don't get listed and that they're not in trouble. So with that, I'd like to introduce one other person. Gary Myers, who was the director of our agency for about 32 years or so. Gary has been instrumental in pushing a lot of the programs forward, was a national leader and one of the signers in the North American Waterfowl Plan, which takes in not only waterfowl but all those other species that are associated with wading birds. So Gary, if you would, I know that you worked with Bob for a long time, and I know Gary had a couple words to say. And with that, I'll introduce Gary and just say thank you all so much for being here, and such an honor to be a part of all of this with you in honoring Bob and the work that he's put forward.
It is an honor to get to talk about Bob a little bit. We put him in as the head of the non-game program years ago. We needed somebody to come in there and build a plan real quick that we could get accepted by the Fish and Wildlife Service so that we could get money for the non-game program. And we put him in there to do that. He did it quickly. The plan was accepted, and then the federal money dried up. We were getting a little bit of money from the general fund for the non-game programs early on, and the state of Tennessee got into a little bit of a financial problem, and we lost that money. We never did recover it in any substantial amount. And so Bob is sitting there running a program with not much money to do anything with. And I viewed it sort of as the director's job to find the money so that the people can do their programs the way they want to do them. And so I worked on that for about 30 years, and I never succeeded at getting the kind of money that we really need to run a really good program. in Tennessee. I mean, a great program. We're rich with non-game species in our state, and we don't have near the money that is needed to ensure that those things are passed on to future generations. And Bob knew that. And so I guess what I want to say is that I kind of let Bob down for about just 30 years is all. But Bob never let me down. He was innovative. He always kept a smile on his face, and he did the best he could with what he had. And there's nobody, I think, that could have done more with the money that he had to work with. And the thing about it was that he did so much with so little for so long that I was very impressed. Nobody could have done any better than he did with what he had to work with. And I guess if there was such a thing as an eagle of a program, he's been there and done that. And he's a good man. He ran a good program, and I'm very proud of what he did year after year after year with as little as we gave him to do it with. And the fact that many of you here aren't with TWRA, you're with other organizations, you have other interests, and Bob worked with you guys to get things done. And you can be very proud of what he did get done, and I want him to know that I'm very proud of what he did. Thank you.
Hey, Jody, where are you, Jody? Jody Millar. Do you want to say a few words about Bob? Jody was the National Bald Eagle Coordinator for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for many years. And of course, she worked closely with Bob and many other state biologists on the recovery of the eagle. And she's now working with our foundation to handle our grant program while Bob has been dealing with the cancer. Because Bob is the one that headed that up for us. And so I would like to have Jody say a few words about Bob.
Well, I'm pleased to be here from Iowa, and this is a great event to honor Bob. I worked with Bob when I was doing the regulatory work for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and we were trying to decide whether the bald eagle had really recovered or whether it should remain endangered. And Bob was a key person to get really good data, and they were being proactive by releasing additional bald eagles here in Tennessee through the work of the American Eagle Foundation. And I really appreciate all that Bob in Tennessee has done. And since that time, I've been working with Bob under his guidance on some of the bald eagle grants that the American Eagle Foundation is pulling together. And I hope the work can continue.
We have a number of Bob's family members here, his wife Betty and his daughter Terri, his son Jerry, brothers Howard and Tom. I don't know if any other ones are here. I was going to ask Howard if he'd represent his family and say a few words about his brother, since he does some speaking now and then, and has just wrote a new book.
Thank you. I want to say that how kind it is of all of you to be here and to recognize my brother in this way. He was born just across the river where the Harpeth Valley Utility District is now located. If it were not for the Cumberland River, the back of that farm where my dad lived and my family lived would border this property. My dad lost his job during the 30s, and he had to sell that 30 acres for $2,900. And we moved to Williamson County, and we grew up, we have 6 boys, and we grew up as tenant farmers. But the communities, our teachers, and people like you were kind to us and believed in us. And 5 out of the 6 had to go into the military, but 3 of them came back and went to college on the GI Bill and made mechanical engineers. The other 3 went on scholarships and that type of thing. And we never forgot the people that believed in us and gave us a helping hand And I really think that became a lot of Bob's DNA. He always felt like he had to give something back and leave this world in a little better place than he found it. And thank you again for recognizing him as you have.
If, thank you, Howard. If Jerry and Terry would like to come up and just say a couple words about their dad. I know you, is that okay? Sure. Jerry? Terry was a little reluctant, but I said, she looks like a Nashville star. She needs to be up here.
Thank you, Al. First, I have to say, thank you for being here. I have been promoting this via Facebook, emails, and everybody's gotten the word, and if they're not here today, they're going to see that by video, so thank you for that. Yes, I'm Terri Hatcher Goodwin, and I'm very proud to be a Hatcher, and isn't that amazing that someone that works with the wildlife, he's got a name Hatcher, and he went to Eagleville High School too, and we could just continue that on. It was all meant to be. And again, to have a eagle named after him, the Hatcher legacy, to be flying over where he lived as a child, is another amazing event. And of course, I thank Al and Ed Carter and everybody at TWRA and the TOS and everybody. And I look around at all the friends and family that are here who've made it from, all over. What does that tell about somebody? What an amazing man my father is. I'm so proud of what all he's accomplished. And he has always been honest and humble. And those are two things, Bob Hatcher well. He's very humble of all the things that he's wanted to give and do with his work with eagles and other wildlife. We could continue to go on with the fish industry. He had a fish named after him. I mean, he is just an amazing man, amazing father. We're sorry he can't be here today, but he did have a visit with Challenger this morning, and if anybody could do it, Al could do it. He got Challenger into the Heritage of Brentwood and got a visit with Challenger, and I thought that was amazing. That made my day, too, along with this event.
We had to smuggle them in there.
Yeah, and then that would be up to Al to do that, and I love that. And I saw that smile on my face this morning that made me so happy, because Dad has fought a long road with cancer. And it started off with lung cancer, and had surgery back last July, and it's been a long, hard battle. And he is continuing to fight that battle, and we'll never give up hope. But we wish he could have been with us today, but he is in spirit. And thank you all so much. I do have an amazing father. I have an amazing mother, Betty, who has been by my father's side for 52 years. So that means a lot. So I have my son here, Brad and Jeffrey, so Dad and Mom's grandchildren, and a great granddaughter of my dad, Anna, who is 16 months old, is here with us today too. So we appreciate all of you here. Okay, so thanks so much for the media and covering this. What a great, awesome story to share. And Mom, would you like to come up and say a few words? And Jerry, then you can. Okay. Mom, can you step on up? But thank you. Wow, what an amazing day. I said, let's pray for beautiful weather. We had rain yesterday. We're wondering what this would bring. And the sun, we've been blessed so much. And I feel very blessed. Thank you all.
Well, first of all, I have to say is that I've had a great spokesperson here in my daughter, Terri. And Jerry helped her along too, along the way here. And that has really meant a lot to Bob and myself. And I just feel a part of things just like Bob, because I got very interested in his work. And it has meant a lot to me. And I met so many nice and interesting people that I enjoyed. I feel like I worked with them myself. I still know them, and I'm looking forward to still being around and attending some of the meetings and being acquainted with them after he has gone on to heaven. So I just feel really blessed, and I'm so thankful for all this that you're doing in his honor. I know he'll be so blessed as much as I am, and I just can't wait to get back to tell him how things went. And I know he's just thinking about us now. And I know how much he enjoyed Challenger being there this morning. And I just want to thank all the people here that are participating and helping making this worthwhile for us to be here, because it took a lot of work for people to get this organized. And it came as a big surprise to us, so that's amazing. And I'm just so thankful the way everything is turning out and has turned out. Thank you very much for being here.
I'm Jerry Hatcher, also known as the less attractive twin, I guess. But really want to echo what you just heard. Thank you to all the our family that's here today and friends. You know, those that know my dad really well would know that you know, if he was physically able to be here today, that he would quickly take the spotlight off himself and put that on the others. This honors his, you know, his career and his efforts in restoring the Eagles to Tennessee. But as you guys know, he kind of laid that foundation, but he also quickly gives that credit to so many of you that are here today and others that couldn't be here today that have continued the effort on. And so especially recognize, you know, Gary Myers, and grateful for him being here today, and Ed and Al, with all the work that you guys are doing and continuing this legacy, that we're so grateful for you guys, and just so grateful for this great day the Lord has provided to us. So give him praise for that. So, but thanks again for everybody being here today. Thank you.
And there's a number of people here that are obviously close friends with Bob and who could tell stories. Obviously, we don't have time today to do that, and you know, we got people that had to do it. We had a hack site that Bob had established just about 3 miles from here on Bell's Bend, and released a lot of eaglets here. And I think Bill Coble was involved, and of course Ken Dubke knew Bob from the very beginning. I think you might have given Bob the idea for hacking in Tennessee, and Bob took the ball and ran with it and never stopped. So it's, but a lot of friends here, and I have so much I could say about Bob. I mean, Bob's truly been a friend and a special, special person in my life. I mean, I wouldn't be standing here, I wouldn't be doing what I do, which I'm blessed to do, without Bob. Bob took some chances on me. Gary Myers took some chances, but Bob was always a defender and a supporter, and he always had the resource as the priority. He didn't get into personalities. You very rarely ever heard Bob say a bad thing about anybody. He was just always positive all the time. He's still positive. I went and visited him last night, this morning, and I mean, how could a man be dying of cancer with cancer throughout his body and be so positive? He's just amazing, and he's inspirational in that way. But I met Bob first in 1983, walked into his office, I think it was July of '83, and I just had an idea to help Eagles. I had just read a newspaper article in the Tennessean about, well, there was a picture on the front page that had 24 eagles laying side by side that were shot by poachers in the Dakotas. And I was working on some entertainment projects at the time, and I just was stunned by the photo. And being a kid that grew up in the country, spent a lot of time in the woods, and just loved animals and wildlife, I just, you know, I just couldn't believe what I saw. So right away I called up the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and just never called there before, and said, put me on the phone with the guy that knows the most about eagles in the state of Tennessee. Of course, they sent me directly to Bob, and he spent probably a good hour on the phone with me, telling me that eagles were endangered and there was very little money to help eagle programs in Tennessee and elsewhere, like Gary was saying. And then from that point forward, we just continued to work with each other, and he took a lot of chances on ideas I had and things that I'd never done before. And I truly consider him to be an angel put on earth to help me, because he was amazing. And he's still that way today. Due to Bob's efforts, of course, he's been involved in protecting a lot of endangered and threatened species, you know, everything from snail darters to songbirds. But you know, eagles were a big part of his life, and he started the Eagle Recovery Program in Tennessee in 1980, I believe. And at that time, we had no nests in Tennessee, eagle nests in Tennessee. And as Gary was saying, Bob figured out a way to be resourceful and get the program going by cooperating with various parties, volunteers, and different companies and such. And so as a result of that, we now have about 143 successful nests in Tennessee. And we've released, we've hacked out over 360 eaglets statewide, which is more eaglets than any other state has ever hacked. And of course that was all started by Bob, and nearly all of it was coordinated by Bob. And so, you know, he's really leaving a legacy behind to his family and to the country. And of course then Bob has been recognized by people around the country, other eagle experts around the country, state, federal, and private. All highly respect him and for who he is. He was, he always gave people the time of day, and no matter who called his office, whether it was a silly question or whether it was about a little tiny animal that there was plenty of, or whether it was an eagle, Bob gave everybody the time of day and gave them a lot of detail, made sure he'd follow up with emails or send them materials. I mean, he just always went beyond the call of duty to make sure that people were educated. And I can't imagine how many tens of thousands of people that were touched by a Bob Hatcher email over the years. And you usually got more than a couple sentences. You know, he was just very much a detailed guy, and he wanted to make sure you had all the info. So, and I feel honored to be here to honor him this morning. The eaglet that we're going to release this morning is a captive hatched eaglet that we at the American Eagle Foundation at Dollywood, we have several pairs, 7 pairs of eagles that are disabled. And the Fish and Wildlife Service allows us to release them into the wild in East Tennessee to help recover eagles because we're paying the bill, and they don't, you know, they're not concerned about, but they do want us to continue our work. And of course, this eaglet that we were releasing this morning, which we're naming Hatcher's Legacy, and he has a patagial tag on his wing, which you'll notice it'll say HL2 and or HL4. And the 4 stands for 2014. But this eaglet was hatched by one of our pairs, and we had it in the hack tower. We were going to release it from there, but we thought there might be something wrong with it. We heard some bone cracking or something. It ended up being not significant, but we took it back to the facility to get it checked by our veterinary people, which they okayed it and said, no, it's no big deal. And we put him in our flight cage for the past week. So he's actually been flying. He's got flying skills already. And so we thought, since the timing of it with Bob's situation, and this having been an approved hack site before and a great location for eagles, I forget how many we released here at Scottsboro. About 3 miles from here on the river, we had the hack site we called Scottsboro, and I know we released quite a few eaglets over the years here. And so this is fitting not only because Bob lived across the river, he's here, and all you people live here, but I think it'll be great habitat for this bird. And it should have a good start since we're bordered by the Cumberland River on just about 3 sides, I think. And anyways, I could go on and on about Bob. Obviously, just a very special man. That's all I can say, and that's why we're all here to honor him.
I want to thank everybody for being here. It's really awesome. I want to thank everybody for, like I said, being here, and I'm really happy that they're doing a scholarship for him, because education is very important to him. Thank you, everybody.
So, thank you very much, man. I know how emotional it is. James Rogers has also been a friend of Bob's for many years, and both Bob and I got introduced to James through a song that he wrote that was a state bicentennial song. It was a song called Fly, Eagle, Fly. And of course, Bob and I both loved the song, especially at the time because the eagle was endangered when it was written. And so he's going to come up and sing that song and perhaps another one. But James has been a great friend to the foundation and to Eagles, and we appreciate him. Where are you, James? Oh, there you are. Oh, the guy with the guitar. Okay.
That's great. Yeah. I'm going to strike this. Terry, hopefully we can re-aim that for you.
There we go.
It is an honor and a privilege to be here today for Bob and for the whole family. And it's also especially tough because Bob is a personal friend of mine, family. I love all of them. And, you know, it's hard enough to try to speak sometimes in a situation like this and then to be asked to sing a song. But anyway, Bob and Betty and Al and the gang, they've always loved my song, Fly, Eagle, Fly. God gave me that song back in 1973. And that song introduced me to Bob. And since that time, I've written a couple of songs, more songs about eagles. And one of them was Save the Eagle, which some of you probably have seen the video. And half of Nashville did a gang sing on it and everything, and Bob, he loved that one. I was asked to write a special song later on for the Fraternal Order of Eagles. And in the song, I was supposed to tell the story of the beliefs that the Eagles have as an organization, as a brotherhood and sisterhood. I truly believe that in the process of helping to save the eagle, that Bob Hatcher became one himself. He is an eagle. He's an eagle spirit that we can all admire and look up to. But anyway, I ask you not to listen to so much how I sing, but to the words that I say. And we dedicate this to Bob Hatcher. Today, I saw an eagle flying. His colors were red and white and blue. Today, it looked like he was crying, wondering where are all the friends he once knew. Today I heard the eagle calling. His voice echoed from the mountains to the seas. But again the lonely sound was only falling all around on deafened ears, those not free. I said, fly, eagle, fly. Spread your freedom wings across our skies. Don't you let them bring you down. Don't let them chain you to the ground. You gotta be strong to travel alone through the sky. Fly, eagle, fly. Today I saw an eagle flying. Is he heading for skies he's never known? Are the freedoms he'd left behind him dying? Will our eagle find another home? God in all his wisdom made a world unto his name and filled it with its creatures great and small. Then he linked them all together just like the pieces of a chain, as the secret of survival for them all. Before the chain has been broken forever, we gotta keep the world together, and we gotta save the eagle, the symbol of a feeling we call free. We gotta keep the dreams alive, keep them flying high. Save the eagle, save part of you and me. I am an eagle. Let me spread my wings across this wondrous land and stand for all good things, for strength and hope, integrity. And when the storms of life are raging, let me help mankind to see I am an eagle, soaring brave and bold. Commitment to the things we do with heart and soul, to make the world a better place to be. Let me show the world I care. My friends, I'll see you there, where eagles fly, for liberty, for truth and justice and equality, for God and home, we live or die. I'll see you up where eagles fly. I'll see you up where eagles fly. Eagles fly. Spread your freedom wings across our skies, and don't you let them bring you down. Don't let them chain you to the ground. But you gotta be strong when you travel alone through the sky. Oh, fly, you mighty eagle, fly. We love you, Bob.
Hey, thanks, James. That was amazing. Inspirational. I think Ed wanted to say a few more words about something.
Thank you, Al. Before we get into the event of releasing the Eagles, I just want to say one or two more words about the American Eagle Foundation. Bob and Al worked together to really get that thing off of the ground, and no pun intended there. But they really did do a lot of work that nobody ever saw, and it's been a love of labor, I'm sure. But if you ever go to Dollywood, it's a permanent exhibit. Please stop by there and look at that, and also the work that they do in the background. And I've had the back door tour from Al, and my family and I have seen that. It's been great, and I know they would never say that, but they need your support in every particular way they can get it. So when you have that opportunity, please remember them. And I also wanted to mention just a couple of people. I want to thank Cindy Rutledge. Cindy used to be, well, still is, a major part of the Crane Festival that we have down in the Wassee National Refuge, and now, for some unknown reason, has become the naturalist here at Bell's Bend and helped put this together. So, Cindy, thank you for that. And we appreciate that. And I saw Ken Dubke, who I've known for 40 years, and all the work that he's done at the Tennessee Ornithological Society, and Mac Pritchard, who was for years the state naturalist and one of my first bosses as I came to work for the state of Tennessee. So thank you all for being here and all the work that you've done to contribute to this as well. But I also wanted to say when Bob and I first started to work, and Bob was there before I got there, and you wanted to track an eagle, you kind of went, look, there goes one. It's changed. And now I would invite you to come to the agency's website and visit our Watchable Wildlife website, that you can go and see all the different kinds of wildlife, but specifically birds. And our state ornithologist, Scott Summershoe, has been doing another project that we'd worked with on golden eagles. And if you want to see where an eagle flies, you can go on your computer and you can see it's gone from here to British Columbia to all the other places and track it throughout the year. And it's pretty amazing. So things have changed, but not without the pioneers of the people I just mentioned. And I especially want to say just again, thanks to Al. When Al called me, I think it was Thursday, he said, hey, we need to do this and we need to do it. Let's do it. Hey, how about Tuesday? And to see that this all came together, I could go on and on, but thanks to Al, thanks to the foundation and all that they've done and all the work that Bob's done. I just wanted to not leave without saying that. So Al, thank you.
Since Ed brought up the foundation, I wanted to make sure that I didn't end this day without thanking some of my board members that have been here and with the foundation for years and that have helped us out and supported us. We've got Joe Spivey, Steve Compton, Spencer Williams. Where are you? Anyways, James Rogers also was a board member at one time as well. So but we appreciate all you guys and all the support you gave me and the foundation to do what we do. Of course, Bob was a very spiritual man, as many of you know, and he lived a life according to his beliefs in God and Jesus, and he was obviously lived it out much more than a lot of us do, and because we all come up short of God's glory. And but he, again, it was a very important part of his life. So I wanted to, before we release the eagle, I just want to say a short prayer, and I want Julia to come up and sing Amazing Grace, and then we'll get the eagle ready to go, and I'll give you some instructions. What we're going to do, by the way, is we're going to be down on that hillside there, and then anybody that wants to come behind us and watch the eagle go, you just join the group, okay? And then we'll throw them out into the wild blue yonder today, thank God.
Al, you should mention that the Cobles are here, as was mentioned earlier, and Ms. Coble said they've hacked out 24.
24 eaglets? Okay, here at Scottsboro? Okay, I was thinking it was maybe more than that, but yeah, okay. Yeah, Bill and his wife, where are you? There you go.
Right here.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one that did it, he and Ray Bell.
Yeah, oh yeah, Ray Bell was very much involved. It was his property, I believe, or adjacent to his property. But yeah, it was. It took cooperators across the state to do these things. I mean, like I say, Bob was doing things very resourcefully. I mean, sometimes it was somebody's property, sometimes it was a state park, and of course, to operate a hack tower, you needed all kinds of volunteers and people to donate the food and, you know, transport the eagles from Alaska to here, because for years we translocated eagles from Alaska and some other places, Wisconsin nests. And, you know, so it's what Bob believed in. Bob always was a big promoter of symbiotic relationships. I'm sure everyone here has heard him say symbiotic relationships. And he always believed that people working together that were willing to share the credit and, you know, great things could be accomplished. And his life is a tribute to that concept. And he taught me that, and I'll always tell other people that. And so, because the same thing with the foundation. You know, the foundation is just a nonprofit, and it exists because of other people supporting us, people helping us out along the way. You know, whether it's Gary Myers or Ed or you know, Bob. I mean, there's so many people, so many hundreds and thousands of people that have helped us, and so it takes a team, and Bob believed in that. So Julia, why don't you come up? I'm going to say a short prayer. I just want to first off thank God for Heavenly Father for this beautiful weather. You gave us thunder showers last night and had me a little concerned, but I thank you for this clear blue day, and we appreciate, Lord, the creation that's around us, the wonderful terrain and territory that this eagle's going to fly into, this beautiful Cumberland River with a lot of fish. We thank you for creating all this, and we just ask that you bless this bird and give it a long life, let it prosper. We ask that you bless each person that's here and give them safe travel to where they came from. And Lord, we just give you all the glory and all the thanks for everything in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay, thank you, Julia. Well, we're going to release the Eagle. I want to thank everybody for showing up, and I just also want to just keep encouraging to pray for Bob and his family, and you know, they need a lot of prayers and support for everything that they're facing and that they're still going to have to face here for coming years. And we thank you all for being here. James is going to send them off with Fly, Eagle, Fly.
I saw an eagle fly. His colors, red and white and blue. Dang, looked like he was crying. Where are all the friends he once knew? Dang, I saw an eagle flying. Is he headed for skies he's never known? Are the freedoms he left behind him dying? Will our eagle find another home? And I said, fly, eagle, fly. Spread your freedom wings across our skies. Don't you let them bring you down. Don't let them chain you to the ground. You gotta be strong to travel alone.